Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 127. We're going to talk about one of my passionate verses today, and we're going to get there by a little 7-minute meditation, and I'm going to call this "Reviling is my friend." Now, how in the world can that be? And that is, we're going to end up tracing over Jesus's response to his reviling. So here's how we're going to get there. This is from Matthew chapter 5. We're in the beatitudes. And at the end, it says, blessed, verse 11, blessed are you when others revile you. What? Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you. We talked about that yesterday. And utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. So one more time. Matthew 5:11, blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. You are blessed when this happens. So we've been asking the big question, what is your friend when you are a friend of Jesus? And today we find out that one of our friends is reviling. It's persecution. It's evil utterances against us. Like, this is crazy. Now, Jesus qualifies that and says it has to be on my account. That is, that you've represented me well enough. You've reflected my character and resembled me enough in your life that people have become so irritated. The stumbling block, they've tripped over the stumbling block. And so it's almost like not you standing there, it's Jesus standing there. And Jesus is saying, hey, it's not you, it's me that they're reviling against, that they're fighting against. So if you've done that, well done. All right. So what is reviling? Reviling is using your mouth to the harshest extent possible. It means to insult or to reproach or to harshly criticize. It's the harshest verbal resistance that you can get. And the good news in the passage today is that Jesus was reviled, so we can use his example to do what he did when he was reviled. So if you're being reviled, you are in good company with Jesus. 1 Peter chapter 2, this is the nuclear power plant of 1 Peter, in my opinion. And I'm going to read 3 verses. This is in the context of Peter is telling his followers, what should we do when we are unjustly suffering for Jesus? And he says, verse 2:21, for to this you have been called to suffering, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example. And the Greek word there means underwriting. We'll talk about that in a second. He's left you an example so that you might follow in his steps. Trace over the top of it. Verse 22, he committed no sin, neither was deceit found in his mouth. Here's the key verse for today. When he was reviled, he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to him who judges justly. So Jesus was reviled, so you're in good company. And the key there is not to return fire verbally. But what if every fiber of my being wants to? The response that Jesus gives is to entrust. And it's not an external thing, it's an internal thing. And we're supposed to do the same thing. It says he's left us an example. Now, the Greek word in 1 Peter 2:21, he's left us an example, means he's left us an underwriting. It's the image that we trace over the top of. So we should be tracing over, following in his footsteps, literally going in the lines that he's drawn for us. It's he's got the solid image, and we put a piece of tracing paper over the top of what he's done, and then we do the same image. So our temptation is when someone verbally attacks us to the utmost extent, our temptation is going to be to respond outside of our body, and specifically to respond with our mouths. And Jesus says, trace over the top of me. Do what I did. Follow my example, which is be careful with your mouth. Don't use your mouth in this example. Use your insides to respond, which is to entrust, to continue to entrust. Do what he did. So reviling can be our friend because Jesus showed us specifically what to do. He gave us an example. He gave us the underwriting, and we are the overwriting, if you will. We're supposed to trace over the top of Jesus and do what he did. So expect to be reviled. Hope for it almost. You're blessed if you're doing it. Expect a verbal full-on attack. What is your friend when you are a friend of Jesus, and why? Well, why is reviling a friend? Because Jesus has specifically walked that path for us. He suffered in this way first and left us this underwriting and told us specifically to trace over the top of him, use him as an example. And what is his example? Not to respond on the outside, and specifically with our mouths, but to respond on the inside and continue to entrust. He tells us to trace over him in this. Do what I did. Entrust when you are reviled. Don't respond with your mouth. Respond with your entrusting. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.